So this is a full back foam roll. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start at your upper back, kind of up by the neck area, but you're gonna put your arms up overhead. You're basically gonna roll from the neck all the way down to just the lower part of thoracic spine, not quite into the low back. Let the arms hang. You can kind of let your breath out as you go down. You're gonna go up and down about 8 to 10 times. You can vary the speed if you want to go faster or slower, but really kind of dig into that tissue to get things moving. You might feel a couple cracks and pops. It's totally fine. Just let your body relax as you roll all the way up and down here.
This is a foam roller open book. Bottom leg is going to be straight along the foam roller. Top leg is going to be at 90 degrees. You're going to keep in contact with the foam roller with this top leg. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing open, so you can turn the head with it. Give it contact. Foam roller head. Come all the way back. This is called foam roller thread the needle. Your hand is going to be down on the inside of the foam roller. Other hand is going to go behind this arm in front. This left arm, my left arm here, can bend a little bit to give you more thoracic rotation. But what you're going to do is you're going to slide and you're going to reach as far over as you can. Hold it for about a second at the end. And you're going to come back all the way back to the starting position. Roll out as far as you can. And come back. You're going to do that on both sides. So T-spine extension, hips are going to stay down on the ground, arch over the foam roller. You can go to a higher spot up, arch over kind of as far as you feel comfortable doing, come all the way back up. If you find a spot in particular it's a little tighter than another spot, you can kind of stay on that particular spot and continue to mobilize it. This is a banded wall airplane. What you're going to do here is you're going to grab a band, you're going to stretch it across the chest. Okay, I don't want the arms to come away from the chest, bands across the chest. Be in kind of a good golf posture. One foot's going to be on the back wall, the other foot's going to be on the ground. Head's going to stay neutral. You're going to rotate over kind of as far as you can, focusing on maintaining stability and trying to get as much rotation as you can in that torso. And you'll switch sides. So this one is a half kneeling. Club overhead, you're going to do side bend, rotate, rotate. So what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be tipping over the side bend, rotate. So I don't want your knee moving at all. You're going to rotate as far as you can, go the other direction, rotate as far as you can. So that would be considered as one. Side bend, rotate, rotate is one. You're going to do 3 of those, and then you're going to switch legs and do the other side. So this is a half kneeling hip flexor stretch. What I want you to focus on with this one is to do a posterior pelvic tilt initially. So what I want to do is I want to flatten this low back and kind of lock in that hip flexor at the origin so it can't move. Because if I don't do that, I can stretch my hip flexor like this. I'm not really doing a whole lot, okay? What I want to do is I want to do that posterior tilt. My back is flat. I feel tension here. That's as far forward as I can go. You're going to hold that. And then if you want to add another layer to it, hands can go over the top and you side bend away while maintaining that position. Then you're going to reset, shake it off, come back into it, do that posterior tilt, tucking those hips underneath, leaning forward, side bending into it. Do that a couple times, then switch sides. This is called hip cars. You're going to go both forward and backwards. So you're going to come into this position here, put your hands on a wall. This way you're going to lift your knee up. Then you're going to bring it out to the side, okay? So you're not just rounding the leg, you're bringing it up like you're opening that hip wide. Then you're going to turn that knee down, foot up towards the ceiling, and you're going to bring it through. So it's up, out, circling around, and through. That's the forward way. The reverse way is the exact opposite of that. You're kicking up like this, and you step up and over, open that hip, bring it all the way around the front, back down. This way, drag my hip around, back down. This is called the pelvic wall clear. So this is to work a little bit more on that rotation and dissociation of that lower body to increase some more hip rotation. So what you're gonna do, put your hands on the wall. Okay, what this is gonna do is it's gonna help stabilize your upper body. Left leg is gonna go forward. So the goal of this one, you're going to try to keep your upper body fairly stable, rotate your hips into a backswing, and then you're going to straighten this left leg and drive and rotate your hips as far as you can to the left, maintaining a very stable upper body, using the wall as needed to keep those shoulders nice and square. Rotate back in that backswing. You're going to drive the hips through this direction. And then when you do the opposite side, other leg's going to go forward, and you're kind of repeat the same exact process. This one's called the torso wall wash. So your hands are going to go behind your head. The leg closest to the wall is going to be up in this position. You're going to rotate away, and you're going to side bend over. You notice I'm not hinging over. I'm trying to elongate this side over here, inside, bend down. Then I'm going to flip it over and go the opposite direction. Okay, you're going to do 5 of these, so that would be 1. Down and back is 1. You're going to do 5 of these on each side, and then you're going to switch. Here, this is a wall quad stretch. What you're going to be doing. This is a wall quad stretch. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be on the ground, put your foot against a wall like this. The further back and higher up you creep your foot up the wall, the more stretch you're going to get. I want this outside leg forward. You lean backwards to stretch this quad, and you can kind of push your hips forward as well to get a little bit more hip flexors. It's going to get a lot of that quad muscle. It's going to get the front of the foot here as well. You're just going to kind of hold this for about 30 seconds or so, and then you would switch over to the other side. This one's a split stance cable push. So what you're going to do is the cable is going to be tight up to your chest. Your outside leg, so opposite leg from whatever the hand is holding onto the cable, is going to be forward. So in this position, I'm going to allow my torso to rotate. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to be rotating to the opposite side and pushing, but I don't want a push. I want you to rotate and press. That happens simultaneously though. I don't want to see push and then kind of rotate. It should be rotate, press. Rotate, press. So you're going to do it just like this, making sure you're actually rotating the shoulders as you're pressing, using the legs to stabilize your body. This is a split stance cable pull. Opposite leg is going to go forward. Whichever arm is holding the cable, that leg, the opposite leg is forward. Hinged over like you're in a golf address position, rotated in the torso. What you're going to do is you're going to rotate and pull. Okay, it's not the first movement is not pull, it's rotate and pull, kind of like you're doing a lawnmower or starting a snow blower. Okay, using those legs to stabilize, kind of help you push, and really making sure you're actually rotating the torso. Head is going to stay neutral. You'll do both sides. This one's called straight arm torso with a Pallof press. I want the cable stacked to be just about right above waist height. You're going to be holding the handle with your outside hand. Inside hand is just going to kind of go for a ride. It can help a little bit here. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be in a good athletic position, and you're going to be ripping across your body, maintaining stability in the lower body. So I don't want you sliding over, anything like that. Okay, that's the torso part, and then there's the Pallof part, which is the core press exercise. So it's going to be here, pulling apart, bring it back to the middle, engage the core, press, hold it for a second, bring it out, rip it across, Pallof press, bring it back, across, press it out. So this one's a lat pull down. What I want you to do is on like a lat pull down bar, I want your hands to be a little wider, so kind of outside of the curve of the bar. What you're going to do is you're going to have big chest, ever so slightly lean back. And what I want you to focus on is feeling like you're pulling your elbows down towards your hips and using the back to pull the bar down. So you should pull it down to this position and let it come all the way back up, okay? I don't want you to lean forward or the upper back starts to round. Shoulders rolled back, big chest, leaning backwards, pulling those elbows down towards those hips. This one is a single arm dumbbell bench. So you're gonna have your palm facing down towards your feet. What you're gonna do is you're gonna engage your core nice and tight. Keep your shoulders and your hips and your low back on the bench the whole time. You're pressing straight up, letting it come all the way back down, pressing all the way straight up. Trying not to let the weight of the dumbbell rotate you. If it rotates you a little bit, that's okay, but you're really trying to engage the core to keep yourself nice and square. This is called a text cable pull apart. You can use cable columns like this. You can crisscross, or you can just use a normal band. I like it this way. If you want to use a normal band, you can. What you're doing, the elbows can be slightly bent like this. Looking straight ahead. Shoulders are going to be engaged. To press, you're not going to be shrugging up like this. You feel this down and back. You're basically squeezing your shoulder blades together and letting them come back together. So I'm not straightening my arms. The goal is not to get this type of motion. It's just engage the shoulder blades, squeeze my shoulder blades. This is as far as I go. Slightly back. Let it come back together. Apart. Activating and engaging the shoulder blades. Do about 12 to 15 reps in that. So this is that single leg kettlebell RDL. So what you're gonna do, find something to hold yourself on. Okay, whatever hand is on the support system, that inside leg is gonna be down towards that side, and the weight's gonna be in your opposite hand. So I'm gonna lower myself down, hinging, okay? And I'm gonna be standing up, pushing that hip forward to bridge back up. If it's hard single leg, you can always tap that back foot down to help give yourself some stability. So from the front, this is what it looks like. Driving the hip forward. From the side, I'm going to show you here what I want it to look like. Is this knee? It unlocks, okay? But it doesn't bend any farther than what it unlocks. So it unlocks, and you're going to be hinging over. Hinging, hinging, hinging. You should feel a good little stretch in the hamstring. And then when you're firing, you're pushing this hip forward and engaging the glute and hamstring to fire, okay? So it's down here as far as you feel like you can. I don't want you to get lower by doing this or bending the knee. This is all locked into place. And a good way to kind of remember how to do this is if you keep your eyes up and look forward. It's harder to drop your chest if your eyes are up looking forward. Be in this position, then you're gonna push this hip forward to return to that standing position. So what you're gonna do on this machine, gonna get into it, and the point, you want this pad to kind of bend right where your hips are, so you might need to adjust the distance on that. So this is a glute and hamstring exercise. You can turn it a little bit into a low back exercise, but I want you to focus primarily on the glute and hamstrings. How you're going to do that is you're dropping down in this position. What you're going to do is you're going to squeeze your hamstrings and your glutes. Feel like you're pushing your hips forward through the pad. You're not lifting the back like this, you're pushing your hips forward through the pad by engaging the glutes and hamstrings. You can visually see the difference. If I use my back, I'm pulling up like this. If I use my hips, you can see me rising up that way, okay? You can do this body weight wise, where you're really engaging the glutes and hamstrings. If that becomes too easy, you can grab some kettlebells and really isolate those glutes and hamstrings. So we got a kettlebell swing here, another hip hinge that's a little more explosive. So with this motion you're gonna do here, hinging over, knees ever so slightly bent. You're not gonna use your arms at all. The only time you're gonna use your arms is kind of in the beginning to hike the kettlebell back. Okay, but the motion is gonna be you driving your hips forward and then squeezing and engaging your glutes kind of as hard as you can. And that's gonna cause the bell to swing. You do about 10 to 12 of these in a row. So it's gonna be here, swing the kettlebell back, drive the hips, grab the hips. Really just throwing the hips forward. The kettlebell will swing really on its own. So kettlebell, you're gonna hear it playing. What you're gonna do, hold the kettlebell in one hand, it's gonna be opposite hand, opposite leg. So you're gonna put one foot back on the wall, basically gonna kind of be lined up like a 7-iron stance. First motion you're going to do is you're going to rotate the hips down in, okay? So this hip is gonna kind of kick out a little bit. You can kind of see my hips are rotated in, internal rotation. Then I'm going to drive my hips open to external rotation. So it's not so much about turning the torso, it's about driving that hip. So if I get the kettlebell out of the way, I'll let you know I'm hanging it here, but I'm just gonna hold it out here so you can see it. My hips are rotating open, and they're closing down in. Rotating open, and closing down in. Okay, you're gonna do about 10 of these on each leg, and then you're you're gonna switch. We do dumbbells. This is the drop jump series. What I want to work on with this is being able to quickly load and create ground force into the ground, and then work on exploding bottom. So the first version of this, you're just gonna get little steps. You can work on that step down, kind of drop loading position. So how it's gonna be, arms are in front, you're gonna step off the box, snap down speed, each hit the exact same time. Step back up. Quickly gonna load. And you're gonna drop down like you're reaching for pistols. Yep. Okay. Once you kind of master that, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add like a box jump to it. So I'm gonna not put the box in front so you can see, but you're gonna be loading here, step off, and jump. You're gonna land on top of a box. I do have a box over here. You can also add a variation once you get comfortable with that, where you're jumping, doing that quick drop jump. You're jumping, turning 90-degree box jump. So it's gonna look like this. Right here, quick load.